Yes, hello tradies. Slightly delayed just quickly because we wanted to wait until the penultimate day of the trade period. So we've got a lot of written ones come through on socials, but let's get to a couple of voice messages. We'll start with Luke.
Hey Sam and Mitch, just quickly. It's currently Thursday afternoon in trade period week 1 when I'm recording this. Should be the only week of trade period, but I digress. Just saying that Max Heath from St Kilda has been traded to Melbourne for a 2027 fourth round pick. Sam, you're probably not familiar, but he's a professional footballer for St Kilda now. At Melbourne, he's a ruckman. I digress again. He was traded for what I think is the first 2 year ahead, future 2027 pick. And firstly, by the time Tassie come in, if Tassie come in, with that draft, fourth round pick is probably going to be pick 120. So unfortunate for Max and his perceived value, but just wanted to see if we could get a potential wager going, a bit of an over and under between Mitch and Sam. How many times between now and that draft pick actually being used at the end of 2027 do you think it's going to change hands? Surely we can set a record number of exchanges. I think 5 is the most so far back in the 2022 draft, but I'd appreciate someone fact-checking that for me. Let's see how many times it changes hands. Love your work. Thanks for a great year, and go well.
How good's that?
Luke, I love that. He's listened to every show, judging by a few of the digresses.
Luke could come and host the show.
I reckon.
That was amazing. I'm going to say 3.
6.
Oh, well, that's good that we went different.
Yeah.
Let's hope it's 3. Nice, Luke.
Max Heath. Speaking of future picks, I reckon Jamara's a future 4th.
Jesus.
It might be the same draft, but there's not going to be much involved in that.
I feel for the Dogs. Sort of.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Thanks, Luke.
Jamara attended about a dozen training sessions this year and got his full whack.
Yeah, but I think there's a story that hasn't been told there. Anyway, I digress.
From whose perspective?
Jamara's.
As to why he didn't rock up?
I just think that there's a deeper story there.
Yeah, but still absolutely feel sorry for the Dogs.
Absolutely.
They've done all they could.
Keanu, hello.
Hey guys, just quickly, curious to hear your thoughts on this. Considering how many contracted AFL players are seeking trades this off-season, do you think we'll eventually see the AFL clubs be given more power to trade contracted players without their permission? For example, imagine Carlton trading Curnow to West Coast for pick 1 instead of the club he wants to go to, adopting a model like the NBA do. AFL players would have at least the whole off-season to prepare for the move, and maybe there's some incentive for them to do the move still. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. Cheers.
That's a great question from Keanu. I have a couple of thoughts, Mitch. First, the one about like sending Curnow to West Coast for pick 1. I think it's like if a player wanted to go, but he said he wanted to go to one club and you send him to another club, I think we're a long way away from that happening.
Yeah.
But the interesting one that we talked about this in the main body a little bit, but like if you had to convince a player to go somewhere and it was a player that didn't want to leave at all, like let's say Mitch Lewis or, back to Josh Kennedy with the Judd deal. That's the one that people say, oh, well, you can't trade players who don't want to go. But in the end, you sort of can.
Well, that's the thing. It's like Clary this year. Melbourne come and say, hey, you're going to be playing 2s or your role is going to be on the outside. You're not going to be playing midfield. It might be best to look around. And they do. In saying that, the Saints sort of did that with Jack Steele and he's digging his heels into this point. Now, we're recording the night before.
That's true. But do you know what I mean about the first example where it's like player A comes to the club and says, I want to go to Sydney.
Yeah.
And they say, well, if you want to go, that's fine, but we're going to send you to West Coast because they'll give us a better deal. I don't think that'll ever.
No.
I'm not sure the PA will ever allow that to happen.
No, and that gets back to the original point from the listener. Can you trade players against their consent? Well, no.
Ultimately, I think the answer is no, but I think there's getting more grey areas creeping in.
It's like the mid-season trade period, which will eventually come in. I can see there being brackets. So, if you're on over 500 or, under 500, there's different rules for different guys. And because
how long's the mid-season trade period going to
go? Hopefully 3 weeks.
Do we get paid more? I have to speak to Dill. Trade is going to be on steroids.
And that's where we always bring it back to the American situation. Like the NBA, you can trade against their will, but minimum contracts are what, close to $1 a year. So it's just different ballpark. You don't want guys on $85,000 getting traded the other side of the country when they've got to set up their whole life and their family.
Yep. Hey, Mitch, we've got a lot of questions that have come through on socials. So I'm just going to throw a few at us. Prior Alex says, why would Collingwood trade to go but bring in Simpkin? It's a fairly decent
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
And it's not as if there's going to be a major difference in money.
No.
Simpkin's a touch younger, but not much. No, that's a good point. And to go is a bit of football than Simpkin. He helps them win next year more than Simpkin does.
Much better player. Mitch, can we get an update of your golf, please? Thanks from Charlie Falla.
I did see that. I've got the golf clubs out the back. Every time I take Baxter out for his morning business, I see them and I think I need to take them out. I'm going to have a bit more time on my hands as of next week, so maybe.
How many times you played this year?
Once.
It's not acceptable behaviour.
I have been to a golf course more than once, though.
Jeez, you're loving that, aren't you? Tyler Smithy, 35. What acceptable picks will get Marshall to the Cats?
I think Geelong's future first.
I think so too.
So if the Cats miss the top 6 next year, you're looking at a pick 10 to 12 potentially.
It's unlikely they're going to miss the top 6, I would say. Wouldn't you
There's a
agree?
chance they miss the top 6, top 4.
Really? Geelong?
There's good teams in it.
Geelong are pretty good. Why are our voices getting higher?
That feels about right to me.
Okay. Cody wants to ask, any clubs interested in Tom Mitchell or Sammy's man Mason Cox?
So what's happened with Mason Cox? Because you brought us the information that he'd hit a trigger.
Yeah.
I did the show with Pickers tonight, the agenda says, and he looks after him and says he still hasn't got a contract. Or you think it's one of these ones that's just a bit
There's some funny
smoke and
buggers.
shadows behind the mirrors.
Yeah, I think there's some funny buggers going on with Mason Cox.
Really?
I do. Can I get... Without falling into this again, turning into an internet sensation for a week.
Just here.
With the new rule of there being no bounce, does it not make him more attractive?
You've been speaking to Pickers. He rolled or either you've just watched the agenda setters before coming here, or you've spoken to him because he rolled that exact.
Well, Pickers must be listening to my thoughts because
First time I've heard you. I'll listen to you a lot.
No, I've been wanting to say.
I'll listen to you for an hour a week.
I've been wanting to say this for a couple of weeks since it came out, but I was too scared.
You're in cahoots.
Liam and I don't speak. Like Pickers will attest to that. He becomes so much more of a weapon, I reckon, to use as a second ruck. Like if you're a good team, that had a decent ruckman, and you wanted to bring, and you didn't have necessarily a tall forward line, particularly with 5 on the bench, and there being no bounce, Mason Cox earning not much money just becomes a much more attractive proposition, does he not?
Yeah.
Because he's going to be hard to beat at centre bounce with the ball going straight up.
Well, he's a top 3 ruckman.
Now, see, I just try to have a normal conversation. Nasty. Hey,
Can I ask you this though? This is the sort of stuff that keeps me awake at night.
this will be good.
5 on the bench, so the need for a second ruck will increase, but the boundary throw-ins are going to be diminished because of the last touch out of bounds, which we think will officially come in, hasn't been done yet. Does that add or reduce the importance of ruckman?
Yeah.
Great
question.
Addition of the one on the bench and the reduction of the
Probably
boundaries.
evens it out back to zero.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I actually don't know. The stats will be interesting next year because there still will be the occasional boundary throw-in, but just a lot less of them.
Be keen to see next year how many hit-outs to advantage result in scores and if that increases because of the lack of wrestling at ruck contests.
Hey, remember Eli, the young man that voice messaged in? So we've had some feedback from his mum. Hey guys, massive thank you for taking Eli's question on this week's Just Quickly. He woke up so excited to listen to see if he made it and hasn't stopped talking about you guys all day. Eli Senior.
All day, so not night because Eli goes to bed early.
Eli Senior, well, he's young. Eli Senior is working on his justification for not letting E stay up for the Brownlow. Stay tuned. P.S. Any chance kids can come to the Tradies live, or is it just over 18s?
I've seen kids at St Andrews Beach Brewery before, so I think Eli's more than welcome.
Jess, as long as he's with one or both of his parents, I can't see there being a problem. No. So if you're listening to this, Eli, and you want to come and you don't have a ticket, I'll sort it.
I'll sneak you in.
Yeah, I'll
Will
sort
he
it.
make it to the second half after intermission?
He'll have to. So Jess, part of it is that you have to let Eli stay up for the whole show. And I promise not to swear much. Great addition to Just Quickly. Can't wait for the live show on Thursday. We'll see you then.